More on the situation in Egypt in a moment, but now to a situation here. The conservative summit known as CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, begins in Washington today. There is a growing battle within the Republicans between social conservatives like Governor Huckabee and their belief that the culture wars will cure our economic woes, and those libertarians who say that such solutions are phony and focused on the wrong problems. Joining me now is David Boaz, Executive Vice President of the Cato Institute and author of Libertarianism, a Primer. David, it's a pleasure, and welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Good evening, Judge.
So we had Governor Palin on here, who tends to be a little bit more on the libertarian side of things, not quite where Ron and Rand Paul are, but a little bit more government stay out of my face. We had Governor Huckabee on, who believes that the government should give you permission before you get married. And now we want to talk to you about how the country can solve its problems. Its real problems are a federal government that doesn't recognize the restraints of the Constitution and a public debt that is so staggering and mind-boggling, it's almost inconceivable how the government could pay it back. What direction should the government go in if David Boaz had his way?
Well, I think the government should go in the direction of reducing the size, scope, and power of government. Certainly right now, reducing spending, reducing the deficits. And more importantly, for a political aspect, is that that's what the Tea Party, that's what the voters sent Republicans here to do this year. They were upset about government spending, deficits, debt, takeovers of companies, and that's what the Republicans should be focusing on if they want to get reelected. And instead, it seems to me, they're down on Capitol Hill talking about abortion, and they're across town, the conservatives are debating whether gay people are allowed to be in the same hotel. That looks to me like diverting themselves from the focus they promised during the election.
Well, there's no question about that. There's a division in the Republican Party. I mean, there's a division amongst Republicans right in the House of Representatives. Were you surprised? I'm going to guess you were as happy as I was when 26 Republicans in the House voted against extending the Patriot Act, and somebody didn't count noses right, and it wasn't enough votes to pass at that moment under the rule under which they were trying to pass it?
Well, yes, I'm pleased that that happened. On the other hand, they did get a large majority to pass this Patriot Act reauthorization. They just needed 2/3 under the rules where they were trying to rush it through. Right. And one of the points to note is they promised that we will read the bills, and then they were given 45 minutes to discuss and debate extending the Patriot Act, and that's why some people voted against it. And I have to say, I am delighted to see 8 of the freshman Republicans voted against this, but that means more than 50 voted for it, and so it's not something to get all that excited about. More of those guys who came here to limit the size and power of government should have looked more critically at the Patriot Act.
I'll tell you who doesn't seem to be interested in limiting the size and power of the government is the Republican leadership of the House. And they would be the minority leadership had it not been for the Tea Party folks getting elected and getting more Republicans than Democrats. I mean, they want to cut the president's budget by $38 billion. That is nothing in the stratosphere of $4 trillion. Senator Rand Paul, on the other hand, wants to cut it by $500 billion. That's still not enough, but that's a very significant cut.
It's a very significant difference, and the measurement of how bad things have gotten in the last few Bush years and the Obama years is that Rand Paul is talking about a $500 billion budget cut, which would be 1/3 of this year's deficit. Spending has gone up by more than $1 trillion in just the last couple of years, and the Republicans are saying, well, we think we can slash $30 billion. That is just ridiculous. They should be looking at what was the budget before everything fell apart in the financial crisis. Can't we get back to that? And then they should say, what was the budget when Bill Clinton left office? And the answer is, it was $2 trillion less than it is now. Are we really getting $2 trillion worth more value out of the federal government?
No, but we're getting a lot more debt that generations as yet unborn will have to pay for. David, it's always a pleasure, and you're always welcome here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.